Welcome everyone to our program today. We're going to be joining together for a yoga asana practice, yoga postures. And let's start in our seated posture, and we'll join together with some deep breathing and some sounding of Om, the cosmic vibration. So first, let's find the comfortable seat, closing down the eyes as you're ready. It can be really nice when you're finding your seat just to kind of rock side to side. If you need to pull the muscle of the glutes out from underneath you, you really want to feel the sits bones anchoring down into the ground. Once you feel that anchor, start to refine the little wobble side to side, and it almost feels like you're sort of knocking into a bumper on one side or the other, and you just diagonally kind of bounce your way like a bowling ball going off the bumpers down the lane, up higher and higher and higher, until the crown of the head is the part of the body that continues to lengthen. When you're lengthening through backside of the neck, think gentle tuck of the chin so that the spine is what really gets this sense of lengthening. It's of special importance in our yoga practice that we refine our alignment of the spine. Yogananda said that a bent spine is the enemy of self-realization. And this is the deeper essence of our practice, that we are calming the heart, calming the mind so that we can realize our fullest self within. And if the spine is bent, if we look defeated by life, we're preventing that flow from rising up to the brain and illuminating that inner sense of self. So let's just take a few moments here to breathe and circulate. We're all coming from different experiences today. Some of us may have had peaceful days, others of us, they may have been challenging. And this opening sequence it's an opportunity for you to sort of test the water and feel into the experience that you're having in this moment without desire to change or alter in any way. You might even imagine our bodies sometimes, when the mind is especially agitated, there's sort of like this tightening fist, and the mind begins to sort of squeeze our muscles and starts to contract in the way that we're thinking. We start to really carve these hardened grooves of this is how I am, this is how I act, and part of our inner experience is softening into a greater sense of expansion. And this requires an inner sense of attunement, or listening and feeling and sensing. One of the more beautiful faculties of not only the human body, but also of our inner sense of self and spirit, is that as soon as we relax and we release, we step out of the way, the body comes right back into balance. Our deeper sense of self beyond the personality, as soon as we relax the mind, begins to bubble up from underneath the surface. And in this context, our only responsibility, not only in this yoga practice of the postures, but throughout our lives, is really just to step out of the way and to really enjoy whatever happens to us, even if it's challenging, if it promotes physical discomfort, mental suffering. maybe we can connect with a little bit of that in our practice today. So we'll start with the sounding of Om. You can go ahead and take your hands and rub them together. Get a little bit of heat going here, just rubbing the palms, activating these centers. Good. When you've had your fill, you inhale and reach up to the sky. And then just reach the arms out nice and wide and relax them out and down. And then we'll bring them around right up and into the heart. You can rest them here. Thumbs resting on the sternum. Let your shoulders roll back and down behind the body. Heart is open and expansive. We'll start with the sound of Om. I encourage you to participate in this part of the class by chanting or humming the sound of Om as you're ready. And let's take a deep breath in through our nose. All the breath out of the mouth. Again. One more time. Deep, deep breath, relaxing the body as you inhale. And sighing the breath out. All right, we'll inhale to begin. Let your breath come back to a nice natural rhythm for a few moments here. We'll lift our inner gaze, that is the direction of your eyes, without moving the head in any way. Gently lift the gaze as if looking upward and far, far out beyond the body. Just a gentle flutter of the eyes until they're back open. You can send your hands reaching out behind you. And let's send our feet out nice and long here. So we'll spend quite a bit of our practice today on the earth, since we're practicing on Earth Day. If you're not, make whatever day you're joining us your Earth Day. So just wiggle the feet here. Our first sense of connection with the earth. Articulating, feet spiraling in the ankles. Using the hands as your support, and then just a little drumming of the knees will give you some blood flow coming into the thighs, into the calves. You can smile in this process, just enjoying as you know that your body is going to receive some tender care and love in your practice today. And then if you can stop your drumming and just take a few moments to rub your legs. If you need to hold one hand behind you and just do one arm at a time, you can. Just giving some love to these beautiful roots of our body. Actually connecting with the part of your body that you're touching. So you can also do a little bit of squeezing here. If you're not used to touching your body, this is a nice opportunity for you to connect with this physical vehicle that we're a part of. Try a little drumming on the outside of the legs if you'd like. And when you feel that you're ready, inhaling, arms open up wide to the sky, toes to the sky. And then you can exhale and set your hands down and out and by the sides of the hips. Let's push into the palms and just lift your hips a little bit off the ground here. Do a little relaxing of the low spine, sort of just gliding your hips side to side. Some of our bodies we can do this, others of our bodies we might just sort of roll. It's subtle, but a little decompression of the spine. When you're ready to release, settle the hips back and down to the earth. Let's inhale, send our arms and rise with that energy. Good. And then exhale, you're going to send hands into the heart. Let's point the toes and inhale and reach forwards. And then exhale back into the heart. Good. Inhale, you might lean back a little bit using the strength of the belly. And then exhale, hands into the heart. And inhale forwards. So toes point when you reach. Exhaling back. So just take a few rounds here to feel the breath. Inhaling, reaching back. I'll show you from the side view. Exhaling, hands into the heart. Inhaling, pointing toes. Exhaling, coming back. So when you go up, you might lean back a little bit here, using the strength of the belly. And then come down and in. Good. Reaching forwards. And you're really connecting with what are you offering in your practice this evening? What quality of feeling are you holding in your heart as you practice this little sort of benign opening sequence here? How can it transform into a deeper offering? Slow down as you're ready to. Next time that you're reaching up overhead, see if you can just sit tall and hold on here for a few moments. Toes are flexing and you're squeezing inner thighs together. Squeeze the belly muscles to hold you steady. Good. When you're ready to descend, just slide hands through the heart and exhale. Lean forward and drop the head and release the back of the neck. The affirmation for Paschimottanasana: I am safe, I am sound, all good things come to me. Feeling that consciousness that flows through this posture. I am safe, I am secure, all good things come to me. If the backs of your knees are very, very tight, just keep a little bend in the knees and let the torso fall towards the lap. I am safe, I am secure, all good things come to me. All right, we're going to be a little adventurous here. When you're ready to hold onto the back of the left knee, and we're going to roll ourselves all the way down, round in the low back as you come all the way down to the earth. Good. And then inhale, lift your body all the way up and back and out. We'll go other side here. So inhaling as you descend. And then rising again on your next inhalation. Good. And let's go all the way back and down. Other side. And see if you can reach towards the ankle and just do a little rocking side to side with this bent knee. You may be on the left side with me. Your head can relax to the ground. And work your way into circling. Get into the three-dimensional expression of the leg. And you're sort of just guiding it. The hands are auxiliary, but the directive is your leg in its hip socket, rotating around. Good. And then when you're ready to rise, if you need a little bit of a kick, like you're on a swing to rise up, feel free, and you meet the world, and then go ahead and take another roll back here. It's kind of like a little bit of a trust fall coming back, and then come side to side, trusting that the earth is there to support you. Work your way into the three-dimensional expression. Try to be soft in the region of your hip to allow the body to open. Release the expression. You might smile towards the sky just because you can. Choose peace now. Don't wait another second. Good. And if you can reach over and hold onto the ankle, you might sort of just rock side to side a little bit and get into this outside region of the hip. When you're ready to come back up, if you need a kick, feel free. Otherwise, like you're stepping on a big button, just go ahead and press that foot out and lift the body up. And we'll just set our hands down on the sides here. Let's go ahead and lift our hips as much as our body will allow. Sometimes our arms are not as long as other people's, and we can't actually lift. The idea is to relax the spine completely and let it decompress a little bit. So you're transferring all the weight into the hands, relieving the spine. Now, very important, when you're ready to settle down, do it very gently. And then as you're ready, you can bend one knee at a time, and we'll take hands behind the thighs. And go ahead and try to lift your hips, or lift your ribs away from your hips. Knees nice and close together. And we're going to rock back into our Navasana, or boat pose. And you might wander to lift the feet a little bit here. So depending on what's available, if you want to stay on the ground, just rest on your heels. Keep the heart open. Your practice, you have many, many years to practice, so don't feel that you need to take it to the furthest extent right now. If you'd like, free the hands, and you feel this luminosity of your heart expanding outward, shining your light. Nice deep breath, watching where your inner gaze is. Look at least to your toes. If you can look up a little bit higher, then you get a little bonus. Good, and then as soon as you're ready, go ahead and lower the feet down. We're going to extend right leg out. Let's come back onto our backs. This is a fun little expression of rolling your way back and down. And you can go ahead and draw the right knee up and catch that left ankle and start to draw it towards your face as you thread your hands behind the right leg. A gentle rocking side to side, or maybe even a circling of this right knee. Toes are dorsiflexed on both feet to keep the knees happy. And your left arm is pushing into the knee. Everything here is an opportunity for you to sort of reset or refresh the energy in the hips. Feeling the sense of security as your back is resting on the ground. You're supported by the earth. And be sure to circulate in the opposite direction. Remember, these movements are not mechanical, but each one of them is an invitation or an inquiry into feeling what's happening as it happens. As soon as you're ready to release, you take both knees into the chest, give yourself a big hug, as big as you can wrap your arms around, and lift your head. Squeeze yourself into a little ball here as you take a full inhalation into the body. Tuck the chin. And then exhale, you can just unravel, and let's go ahead and extend our left foot to the ground. We'll cross our right ankle over. Then as you're ready, you can pull the left side this time in towards the body. Do a little rocking to begin. And then work your way into the three-dimensional expression. This really starts to change the way that our mind functions when we start moving, no longer just in a dual or binary movement, but we introduce this third aspect. Reverse the direction as soon as you feel that it's a natural transition. If you're new to this practice, center your awareness wherever you feel sensation, and feel that your breath is like the eroding tides, washing in on inhalation and drawing back on exhalation, softening tension held in any part of the body. Some of us don't need all the movement or rocking, and we just pause in stillness and breathe as we transmute through alchemical breath the tension in the body, both physical, emotional, and mental. When you're ready, you can go ahead and just free that other side out. This time, let's spread knees wide. We'll send feet halfway to the sky. This is happy baby pose. Take a little rocking side to side here. If you can hold onto your thighs, wonderful. If you can make it to the calves, That's the direction the pose is heading over time. Some of us can make it to the feet. And you just sort of enjoy this moment of relief. This is happy baby. So be joyful. Feel free in your body to express. If you can get into the circling here, keeping feet sort of locked in the same parallel distance, but circling on the back in any way, this is an interesting way to express happy baby pose. And we're going to release down by drawing knees back close together again. So this pose is available in varying degrees to everyone practicing. The first degree is send feet back towards your face. You bend your knees as much as you want and hold on to your calves and start to shift the weight onto your upper back. This is called tranquility pose. And it's just like our Paschimottanasana or our forward fold, but we're resting on our back now. If you can go beyond this into plow pose, feel the liberty to extend the feet behind the head. Just make sure there's no discomfort in the neck or pressure building in the face. At any time, if you need to come out of the pose, you just bend the knees and take a little rocking side to side. But I want everyone to have an opportunity to play in this either tranquility pose or you make your way into plow pose and extend your feet behind. Some of us in plow need to hold our elbows on the ground and place the hands on the hips. If you are an advanced practitioner of plow, send arms up overhead and walk your feet way, way, way behind you. This pose is wonderful for balancing the energy in the solar plexus, which is our self-esteem, our willpower, our sense of identity in the community. When you're ready, you come out of the pose right into happy baby and just take a little rocking to massage the kidneys, the little muscles on either side of the spine. Every breath leads towards greater sense of freedom in the body. How about can we hold on to ankles and just spiral the feet? Wake the feet up here. Good. And when you're ready, if you can, send your feet rise into the sky, point the toes any way that your body will allow. Take a nice deep breath and then exhale, and we're going to bend the knees. Let's take a little roll up on the spine. Some of us are going to roll off to the side, especially if our spine is uncomfortable in this position. But otherwise, kick on a swing like you're a little kid, and you can roll your way up. And it's fun to be playful and say, whee! Especially if you don't want to. That really means you could use one. Whee! Whee! We can take ourselves so seriously. And let's just let that go by being childlike and joyful. When you come all the way back up into your comfortable seat, let's hold on in our neutral position to the backs of the thighs and lengthen the spine. Close your eyes and lift your gaze to the point between the two eyebrows. Feel all the energy activated in your spine. You can gently open the eyes again, as is natural for you. Let's join the feet together and we'll come into our butterfly pose. And with a little bit of a change here. So we're going to close the knees and take hands soft to the chest. Take a double breath in and then double exhale and lean forward. Couple more. You don't have to close the knees all the way. Like you're rowing a boat. Again. One more. And when you're ready, ready to exhale, just send hands behind you. Let's just rotate knees side to side here, rolling on the hips. And roll right over onto the side of the hip. So lift the opposite sits bone off the ground and really roll the whole body over from one side to the other. Good. Make sure to get a little twisting in the spine happening here. All right, our next inquiry has many different varieties. The easiest, send both feet out to start here. And when you're ready, we'll draw one foot in, doesn't matter which side you start. And you step that foot over the leg. If you can go any further, roll your way off to the side and tuck the front foot back and behind the body. And then sit nice and tall by holding this knee, chest is broad, and up and out to the sky. If you can extend the opposite arm of the leg that you have crossed, then you can go ahead and wrap around this leg. Take your other hand and circulate back and behind the body so you end up in a beautiful twisting posture. The affirmation for this pose: I radiate love and goodwill to soul friends everywhere. The beauty of this affirmation is that we're offering our pose to others. I radiate love and goodwill to soul friends everywhere. Stay nice and tall in your spine. Let that channel be wide open. I radiate love and goodwill to soul friends everywhere. Now, as you're ready to exit the pose, let's go ahead and take an in-between posture. Some of us will stay here and we'll keep our chest lifted. Others of us may need to just cross the legs and sit as needed. So depending on the openness of your hips, if you'd like to come into the full Gomukhasana or face of light pose, just drop your front knee so that one is over the other. Don't worry if your knees are sort of ajar or not perfectly lined up. It's not so important. You're going to take the same arm as your top leg and reach it up into the sky. Opposite arm goes out with thumb pointing down towards the ground, and you're going to bend your elbows and meet your hands behind your body. Some of us will be able to hold onto the t-shirt. Others of us may be able to join the hands behind the body. It's not so important. The focus is on the light shining from the heart center. Relax your thighs if you can. Relax the hips. Let's close the eyes and just take a moment to feel the effects of this pose in the body. Inner gaze lifts to the point between the two eyebrows. Feeling all of the cells of the body filled with light. Not just a brightness, but an intelligent, a conscious light, emanating, alleviating the darkness of sorrow and ignorance. You are filled with light. We'll repeat the affirmation: I am light. I am light. I am light. Let it be a gradual release. Fluttering eyes back open, extending arms just as you came in, and just reach them out nice and wide out to either direction, and then you can sweep them down and back to the earth. So let's go ahead and first you lift that leg out of the way and you roll yourself to the side. We'll extend our front leg. Let's come into Janu Shirasana in between our sequence here. So foot gathered at the inside of this thigh. If you are able to stack the foot, this is a great way to start to work flexibility into the knee. Others of us want to sit onto the heel. So find what works for you. When you're ready, you can inhale and send arms up, toes flexing of the front foot. And then exhale, let's just go ahead and descend down. So active version of the pose or active phase. Spine stays long. Try to touch the crown of your head towards the top corner of your room. Nice deep breath in. Then you can exhale and fold the head and neck down towards the ground. Work with your breath. The inhale is to rise. You might back out of the pose, and then exhale, lean a little bit further. If there's a lot of sensation on the back of the knee, just go ahead and give it a little rub here. Let the knee know it's okay. It can relax. You're safe. Inhale takes you rising, and exhale descending. Good. And we'll come into a twisting version of this pose. So whatever hand is on the inside of your legs, go ahead and step it to the outside. And then you're going to walk your other hand somewhere back behind you. Keep your toes flexed. If you'd like to push off of the leg a little bit to look with the chest over to the side wall, feel free with long, deep breathing. Relax your shoulders. You might try to breathe diaphragmatically here, which means expanding the belly out, softening the lowest region of the torso so that the breath can get down into the bottom of the lungs. When you're ready to untwist, just very gently coming back, taking a moment in between. We'll just switch our feet out, extending opposite leg. Let's keep knee up, and then you can step your way over. So take your time getting into this twisting pose. You just lean to the side and fold the front leg behind if you can. No worries if you cannot. You hold onto the front leg and lift the chest nice and tall. Opposite arm of your front leg here. Go ahead and circle that arm around. Some of us get hand or forearm, some of us to the elbow. Other arm goes back and around to lift your chest. Think spiraling the belly out and over towards the side. If you can get on the inside of the knee, feel free, and you can place your opposite hand on your heart. If you can get into this depth of the pose. If your breath feels especially restricted, you may be a little too deep into the pose. Let's soften and repeat the affirmation. I radiate love and goodwill to soul friends everywhere. Let your heart fill up with that quality. I radiate love and goodwill to soul friends everywhere. How sweet that connection is. I radiate love and goodwill to soul friends everywhere. As you see fit, slowly unraveling to the front. So again, if you need to adjust the pose, you can always just sit cross-legged for this next pose. But if you can come in and stack your knees, Western hips don't always accommodate this posture, and that's completely fine. You can come into any version you'd like. So let's go ahead and take the same arm as our top leg, reaching up to the sky, opposite arm out to the side. Extended arm out here, turn the thumb down, and you just bend the elbows, and both hands will meet somewhere behind the body. Hold onto the t-shirt if you'd like. If you can interlock your fingers behind the body, feel free to do so. Remember, every posture ideally is calm. We're looking for expansion of breath and body. And then let's close the eyes and inwardly bring the attention up to the point between the two eyebrows. The great teacher, Jesus Christ, said, "If thine eye be single, thy whole body will be filled with light." The single eye that he spoke of is at Agya Chakra, the point between the two eyebrows, known as the spiritual eye. The faculty of intuition. Let the heart expand in this pose and feel the cells of your body filled with light, expanding in every direction. If thine eye be single, thy whole body will be filled with light. You can release the pose at any time. You may also stay a few more breaths as we slowly release out of the pose. So take your time, feel the liberty to stay in the practice. When you're ready, just extend your arms out nice and wide here. And then you could exhale and let the arms come down. So to come out of the pose, if the knees were stacked, just slide the foot back to the earth. Lean over to the side and release that front foot out of the way, and we'll all meet in Janu Sharasana. So foot can either come to the inner thigh. Some of us like to stack it on top. Others of us, if you have the capacity to do so, you can sit onto the heel. So this creates a little energetic lock in the body. I'll demonstrate the gentle version here. So inhaling, we'll take arms up to the sky. Lift in the spine. Then you can exhale and sweep the arms down. So lead with the chest. It's almost like you're folding a blanket, right? You want to fold the torso forwards, but not by rounding the back, but by keeping the chest lifted. So you inhale to rise, and then exhale to inch forwards a little bit further. The knee might have a little reaction here. Just rub the back side of the knee and speak to this part of the body. Let it know that it's safe, and then you can exhale maybe a little further in. Make sure to release back of the neck and the head. Inhale takes you rising. Exhale takes you descending. Nice, long, sweet, melodious breath. Don't be concerned if you have to bend your knee a little bit here. Accommodate for what your body needs. Your final round finds exhale, leaving you down in the rest and relax phase of the pose. Be sure to relax the head. You might roll the lips a couple times here and soften the heart forwards. The affirmation for the pose, left and right and all around, life's harmonies are mine. Left and right, all around, life's harmonies are mine. Feeling that sense of balance on left and right sides of the body. Left and right, all around, life's harmonies are mine. When you're ready to rise, slowly lifting up here, let's go ahead and extend both legs forward and just send some blood flow here. So hands right by the hips, get a little drumming of the legs to begin. Nice deep breathing here, flushing this low body with lots of breath and energy. Now you can either step your feet to the ground to come into our tabletop pose with fingers pointing out. So you just reverse here by lifting your hips towards the sky. If you'd like a more challenging version, keep legs extended and fingertips pointing towards your heels. The affirmation, with a burst of energy, I rise to greet the world. If you can stay here, stay and breathe. Otherwise, you lower down on exhale and then very slowly inhale. With a burst of energy, I rise to greet the world. Keep looking in the direction that your pose is rising. With a burst of energy, I rise to greet the world. If it's challenging to balance in the pose, just breathe and do as much as your body is ready for. With a burst of energy, I rise to greet the world, and slowly descending back and down. we're going to bend the knees and sweep the feet off and out of the way so that we can come onto hands and knees. Let's come right into child's pose and take a moment of respite. Arms extend out in front of the head and forehead is relaxing towards the ground. If your hips don't meet the heels, don't be worried. Find a way just to release the head towards the ground. This next affirmation reveals the direction that every aspect of our yoga practice is bringing us closer to, which is the inner experience of expansion. I relax from outer involvement into my inner haven of peace. I relax from outer involvement into my inner haven of peace. Saturate yourself completely in this affirmation. I relax from outer involvement into my inner haven of peace. And when you're ready to rise, it's gradual. Hands start to slowly draw back towards the knees as you come right onto balancing of knees, hands underneath the shoulders. We're going to come into a gate pose. So let's start for uniformity on the right side. You extend your right foot all the way back behind you. And then just go ahead and take a look back as you flex your toes up. And feel free to bend your knee and then set the foot out nice and wide. So I'll show you from the side so that you get a better idea of our gate pose. And then you stand up onto the knees. Good. And get a little bit of a sense of equal weight distribution on either side. And let's go ahead and just slide with our right hand and let the left hand start to rise up the body and then reach up into the sky. Now if you slid too far and you need to come back, make sure there's still length in your body. Remember, more important than we are flexible enough to fold our body all the way over in one direction is that the spine is still able to conduct upward rising energy. If you'd like to look out past your left arm over to the openness on the other side of the body, feeling joyful energy surging up your spine, that great sense of freedom. When you're ready, you can slowly start by dropping the top hand down and out of the way. And we'll just take a counter pose here, dropping left hand to the ground and sending our right arm up to the sky. So we're in our side plank pose. Some of us want to transfer weight onto the bottom hand, and you stay really strong in this leg, and you might slide that bottom leg out of the way. Just be mindful of what energy you want to draw into your practice. A good measure, if the practice is serving you, is how readily you can smile in the pose. And whenever you're ready, you come down very gently, getting your knees situated back. And then just go ahead and bow the heart forward, touching hands down. And then bend the knee and send that foot back and knee back down to the ground. Let's go right to the other side. So I'll show you from the front this time. Coming around with our left foot out to the side. So toes are pointing towards the direction of your gaze. And then when you're ready, you can inhale and rise onto the knees. Start by sliding down a little bit with your left hand and then draw the right hand, lifting up into the sky, reaching up and over. Think extension on both sides of the body, even though we're leaning in on this left side of the body. Rather than sort of collapsing or crunching, stay nice and long. If you'd like to look past the right armpit over to the side, feel free. Find a long, deep breath. Feeling joyful energy surging up the spine, lifting you out of the heavy densities of stress consciousness, ego identity. Be free in your joyful, blissful nature. If the upper arm goes tired, you can always drop it down to the shoulder or the heart. See if you can stay another few breaths. Listening and watching. When you're ready to transition, feel free at any time. You just turn your top palm down to the ground and we reach over into that space off to the side, and then you send your other arm up, reaching opposite direction. Now if you can shift the weight and leave the bottom leg in its position and then reach it out over to the side, feel free. So let's be mindful. How much do you need in your practice? Am I contracting or am I expanding with this inquiry? Am I struggling or stressing, or is the challenge growing me as an individual into my potential? Feeling energy rising through your spine, expanding in every direction. You descend with bottom leg as soon as you're ready to. And then you just go ahead and walk your hands down as you bow your hips back, and we'll bend the knee out and out of the way. We're going to come into our half Hanuman pose, so step your hands over to the side, and we'll take that same leg over on left side, and then center our hands back in front of our body. When you're ready to here, go ahead and just start to lengthen your front leg as you walk your hands back. So there are two versions of this pose. Some of us can go down and just sit as we straighten this front leg. And this is a version of the pose. Doesn't mean we all need to be in it. Some of us stay with our hips high, and you can still get equal activation in the back side of the knee. I found great success with rubbing the back of the leg if it feels like it's really stressed by the pose. If anyone wants to come into the relaxation phase of the pose, you just lower your head down towards the ground and bow as you breathe. And just be present with whatever comes to you. Hanuman is famous for saying in the Ramayana, "When I forget myself, I serve you. When I remember myself, I am you. I am one with you." And he's speaking to the divine within himself. Feeling that sense of oneness expanding in your own experience. And if you don't feel it, providing humble service by steadfast attention on your practice. When you're ready, you can rise out of the pose, and we'll come into a counter pose here by rising up onto foot and knee and arms into the sky in our modified crescent lunge. As much as your hands are reaching up to the sky, let arms sink down into the shoulders, and we'll hold steady here. Some of us may have our hip right over our supportive knee, but feel free to release forward as is needed or desired. And your gaze is not only just straight in front of you, but if you can, lift it a little bit higher. Let's join hands together in prayer and slightly bend the elbows for mountain pose with our arms. Nice, steady breath. When you're ready to descend, just separate the arms and slowly draw them back and down to the earth. You can step hands onto the inside of the foot so that you can swing it out and around. Just go ahead and take a point and really reach far with that leg, and then you can descend knee down to the earth. We'll go ahead and reach around with the right foot coming to the front. stepping hands around, and as ready, we'll come right into our half Hanuman pose. So rocking back over the heel, lifting the toes is the first journey. I like to come on the tips of the fingers to strengthen the hands. It's very useful to have strong hands in this world, as we are required to be dexterous. At the very least, you'll be able to open those challenging pickle jars. So as you see fit, some of us can lower down over this back heel, and this can be a very deep experience of the pose, but it's not necessary. You can always just bow your head down. If the back of the knee starts to zing, just give it a little rub here. Let it know it's okay, it's safe. Your muscles are just trying to protect you. If you can, drop the head and relax and breathe. Release the neck. Sit your hips a little further back to dive deeper into the sensation. We're bowing the thinking mind to the feeling mind of the heart. Turn your inner gaze upward for these last few breaths if you can. As is natural on inhale, you can begin to bend in your front knee. And if you're very sensitive, walk your hands up your leg, or you can sweep your arms and reach up and over. Again, you can sit your hips right over the supportive knee, or you can start to lean forwards. So choose a posture that suits your body. We'll join hands together into our mountain pose shape of the upper body. Slight pressure of the hands can help here, creates a little energetic lock, as well at the base of the spine. The pelvic floor, if you can imagine, like you are squeezing the muscle and lifting up a little bit higher, will create another lock in the body that makes this pose much easier to sustain. This is called Mula Bandh, or the root lock of the body. It's sort of like the drain plug at the bottom of the bathtub. If this area is dilated or relaxed outward, all the energy in the body is flowing down and out. But if you can engage the muscles here lightly, it sends energy rising back up the spine. When you're ready to descend, arms separate and we come down. And you just walk your hands under the inside of that foot and then send it all the way back and around. Take a little point. Good. And then send knees down. Let's just take child's pose before we continue. Some of us want to take knees wide for this child's pose, and you're welcome to. And resting the forehead down onto the ground. Closing the eyes. And this is the aspect of your practice where you're relaxing and you're feeling the effects of the poses. The vast majority of our practice is cultivating this quality of relaxing and feeling what's happening underneath the surface of the postures. Be feeling sensation in the hips or in the legs that have been getting so much love in this practice. Just imagine that energy is funneling up the spine. It's rising over that beautiful ridge of your rounded back right to the point at the base of the skull, and it's crossing through the brain to the point between the two eyebrows, resting on the ground. This is a natural pattern of flow in your body. Everything expanding. Some of us will stay here and just relax and feel as we're wanting a more restful posture. Others of us are maybe wanting to rise up and we'll come into downward facing dog. So you extend your feet behind you, heels are heavy towards the ground, hips go into the sky, and you press off of the tips of the fingers and the top side of the palm, especially off of the big thumb mound, resting the head looking back towards the lap. If you need a little pedal in the pose, feel free. Long deep breath is enough to deliver you into deep relaxation in the pose. Keep the arms energized and repeat the affirmation. Calmness radiates from every fiber of my being. Soften the muscles. Calmness radiates from every fiber of my being. Let go of any extreme will in this pose. This pose is often polluted with the desire to stretch the body beyond what it's ready to. So soften your body, especially the knees if needed. And repeat one more time with deep conviction. Calmness radiates from every fiber of my being. The respite from the pose is to walk the hands back towards the feet and take feet nice and wide, toes pointing out, so even wider than the hips. And if you can just pour the head towards the ground, this is a wonderful way to recover from the pose. If you need to bend the knees and brace your forearms on your thighs, feel free. This is a variation of our Hasta Padasana, and you're most welcome to take feet even wider if you'd like, coming closer to Prasarita. Make sure to relax the back of the neck and the head. This is a relax and feel pose. Your balance is on the ball of the foot, so rock forwards a little bit further. Work to straighten the legs a little more fully. The affirmation for this pose: nothing on earth can hold me. Nothing on earth can hold me. This means that we are not attached to anything on earth, but we seek our joy only from within, no matter what outer circumstances find us in our lives. Nothing on earth can hold me. Now very gently, you can walk yourself back through downward facing dog, so you just heel toe your feet closer together, and then bend the knees and sort of crawl yourself forward, hips go back and up. And then all paths lead to our feet coming close together, knees coming down, and we're going to come right into a back bend. Our spine with all this forward folding is so primed. Let's come into Ustrasana, or camel pose. So you start by first settling heels of your hands on the top of your hips. Just let your hips release forwards a little bit more. Then the belly begins like you're zipping up a jacket. Energy lifts through the solar plexus, then through the heart, And this is already plenty here for most of us. Chin draws towards the chest so that the back of the neck finds its extension rather than craning the head back. You squeeze arms and shoulders behind the body to encourage this upward rising and look to the point between your two eyebrows. With calm faith, I open to thy light. Feeling that surge of upward rising energy, with calm faith, I open to thy light, the light of the spiritual eye, available equally to all of us as the mind becomes calm and the heart becomes calm. With calm faith, I open to thy light. If anyone wants to come into a more challenging version, you just go ahead and sink the hips down and hold onto the heels with your hands, and then lift the hips back up. So if this isn't accessible, then just stay in the regular camel pose. Please, nobody collapsing with the head backwards, but maybe looking to the sky if you want to challenge yourself. Stay here for several breaths if you would like. All of us will gently lower down into child's pose for our final rest before we come down to the earth. With calm faith, I open to thy light. Coming down into child's pose as you're ready. In this version of child's pose, if it doesn't put too much weight on the head, you can circle your arms behind you and just lay the body down. If your feet cross, make sure that your right toes are on top of your left for this posture. I relax from outer involvement into my inner haven of peace. Let's live this experience together, either repeating these words or feeling that my words are yours. I relax from outer involvement into my inner haven of peace. And we'll start in the heart. Feel that you're descending deep into a cave in the center of the heart. I relax from outer involvement into my inner haven of peace. Let's feel our presence, our essence, and attention rising to the point between the two eyebrows, and we'll say the affirmation here, feeling calm, expanding light, healing every part of the body. I relax from outer involvement into my inner haven of peace. And when you feel that you're ready, you can slowly lift out of the pose, and we'll gently come down into Shavasana as our final resting pose. So take your time arriving down. If there was one pose in between that you maybe were hoping we would get to, if you'd like to try an inversion at the end of your practice, you're welcome to. Just sending your feet up to the sky with soft hands underneath the hips. If you can get into your Viparikkarni mudra, you press off of the elbows and lift your hips up into the hands by swinging the feet over the face. Anybody looking to work on full shoulder stand, you just very gently walk the hands up the back and coming into a fuller expression. So Be mindful that what you're choosing is serving your practice. The affirmation for shoulder stand: I am he, I am he, blessed spirit, I am he. Feel free to change it to I am she, blessed spirit, I am she. Or I am Om, blessed spirit, I am Om. When you're ready to come down out of your pose, just a gentle bending of the knees if the legs were lifted up, and slowly, one leg at a time, extend into Shavasana, which is the lying down flat posture, lying on the back with palms facing up. I would recommend a blanket in this pose to keep the body warm. If you tend to be on the warm side, a blanket is still helpful just to insulate energy in the body so that you're not sort of dissipating out into thin little streamlets in many directions. As you arrive in your comfortable version of Shavasana, eyes closing down, center all the awareness at the base of your spine. And on inhalation, let's rise up the spine, through the belly, through the heart, the throat, from the base of the skull, all the way to the point between your two eyebrows. And then exhale, you can descend down and repeat the cycle a couple of times. Inhaling, rising with conscious awareness up the length of the spine, right to the base of the skull, crossing through the brain to the point between the two eyebrows. Practice as many rounds as you'd like, and we drop the practice with the gaze seated at the center between our two eyebrows, and we'll rest in a silent Shavasana for several minutes. Few moments before stirring in the body to be inwardly expanded. To feel your awareness as a vast field of presence. Remaining here as long as is comfortable for those of us with our awareness beginning to return back into the body, the desire to move, to take conscious breath. Honor that process, leaving the eyes closed, drawing deep breath into the body as you see fit, awakening fingers, toes, even arms overhead, reaching and expanding. Take a few moments to slowly acclimate back into the room and awareness of the body. All the wonderful benefits of your practice will begin to roll off to our right side and gently press our way back up to a comfortable seat as is available for us. Let the process be gradual. As each of us finds our way back into the comfortable seat, go ahead and turn the palms to face up on the lap, lifting the chest, nice tall spine as the crown of the head keeps lengthening towards the sky. Elbows even slightly drawn behind the body will really keep the heart wide open here. Very important part of your practice to center in these final moments. You're solidifying and anchoring the benefits of the practice. Let's gently shift our inner gaze to the point between the two eyebrows, and we'll just take a few moments here together in silence. Noticing how calm the body is, muscles are relaxed, the mind has slowed down considerably, and there is a unique wakefulness after our practice. And this is present moment awareness. Let's join the hands together in front of the center of the heart, and we'll say a prayer for all of our beautiful brothers and sisters around the world, of every country, every race, every nation. Let's pray that the light of peace and inner awakening shine equally upon all beings. We pray for their openness to that light, respecting their journeys, but wishing them well. Praying that they turn within to find their own inner haven of peace. Let's rub the palms together. You can pray for anybody that you'd like to in particular. Just let your prayers be for their best and highest good. We'll extend the palms out nice and wide, feeling the energy flowing through your body out of your hands. Let this energy pour through your body. We'll take a deep breath in. Open mouth, exhale. And we'll join the Om together. Deep breath to begin. Feel a good flow of energy passing through your palms. You can keep the arms extended. Seeing beautiful blessings of light descending into the hearts of all beings. Whenever you're ready, hands can join back together in prayer, and with a gentle bow of our heads, we bow to our own divine nature, awaiting in these moments of stillness revealed by the calmness, we bow to that divine nature within all beings, no matter how they appear outwardly. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Bless these beautiful souls. Bless every soul. We honor this place by saying Namaste. So Namaste to each one of you. Take your time, slowly bringing eyes fluttering back open as you're ready to. Sometimes it can be a little adjustment period coming back to the room, so be easy with yourself. And try to keep the benefits of your practice flowing out into your day. So this new sort of baseline of calm. Some of us, our days are just beginning, others, our days are just ending. So I hope you all have a beautiful continuation after this practice. Thank you for joining this day with us. Namaste to each one of you.